Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail Series. Today we traveled to Lind, Minnesota to take the hiking club trail at Camden State Park. Camden State Park is named after a former town that sat in the bounds of the park. The town of Camden was founded in 1874 and saw steady growth, until like a lot of ghost towns in 1888, the railroad decided not to put a depot in Camden. It steadily declined and by 1930 was no more, remaining only as a forest known as Camden Woods by locals according to the DNR website. The area became a state park in 1935, a similar story to Forestville State Park, but with a considerably quicker timeline. It took only 47 years compared to Forestville, which took almost 95 years between when the railroad chose to bypass it to when it became a state park. I suspect it had to do with the proximity to major population centers, as Camden is only about 15 minutes from Marshall, whereas Forestville is nearly an hour from Rochester. Camden State Park is a wooded valley within the prairie lands, and as such, both habitats are widely featured within the park. The valley itself is wooded with maples, basswood, ash, and cottonwood trees that help make this a great fall destination for hiking, providing a colorful display of leaves. The spring and summer are more vibrant and colorful up on the edge of the valley, where the prairie grass comes alive with flowers and color, but the flowers are not only in the prairie and are scattered amongst the woodlands as well, adding color outside of fall. Camden State Park is one of the state parks that has access to the Action Track Chair, which aims to increase the accessibility of the outdoors to people of all abilities. They are free of charge to anyone that needs them. It is important to make a reservation ahead of time to ensure that you are able to use it. If snow falls before you make it to the park, do not fret, as there are snowshoe rentals available at the park for you to be able to use the snowshoeing trails. But if you're more into snowmobiling or cross-country skiing, those are also options for recreation during the winter. The wildlife in the park is plentiful, with deer, coyotes, hawks, minks, raccoons, and similar woodland creatures. Historically within the range for elk and buffalo and wolves, their time here has passed. But walking through the woods and prairie, you can imagine looked in this environment. The hiking club trail first starts in between trails, so the easiest parking lot near it is by the beach. It's a short walk from the beach to the start of the trail, so that's where I'd recommend parking. Shortly after the beginning of the trail, you start to hear the trickling of water. There are a set of trail stairs that bring you down to the level of the stream, and the trail continues alongside it for some time. Towards the end of the stream section, there is a nice wooded bench, which I'd recommend taking a moment to enjoy the stream one last time before the trail heads up and away from the stream, slowly ascending to the top of the valley and the prairie section of the trail. Prior to arriving at the prairie section of the trail, however, there's a small section of woods that is under a well-developed canopy that blocks most of the light. The result is a relatively clear forest floor. It's not a large section by any means, and the edge of the section is always visible. But I still always enjoy these parts of the forest, and they are quite rare for this far south in Minnesota. It's a particularly good section to see deer, as there is small undergrowth near the ground, if any at all, which gives an excellent sightline. By far the largest section of the hiking club trail is up on the prairie's edge. There the trail meanders around just outside of the forest. There are sections where it dips or gets right along the trees, and while stretches of it are quite sunny, there usually isn't too far before a tree offers a little bit of shade. The park borders some farmland, and if you're lucky, and during harvest or planting season, you can catch a tractor working in the fields. Not that you likely didn't pass a dozen or so on your way to the park. The last section of the trail takes you back into the forest, where you gently descend back down to valley level. This is a nice shaded descent that brings you back about to where you started. With a slight turn, you can cross a bridge to where the spring-fed pool resides. If you want to investigate further, you can walk to the other side of the swimming area and find the Redwood River, which you can observe from a bridge that crosses it over to the north picnic area. My favorite section of this trail is definitely the first section, the part that travels alongside the stream. It's reminiscent of a New England forest hike, though with slightly less rocks, but the green forest and relaxing water sounds make it really fantastic. I also like how when you enter the area and then descend to the water level, there's a rather open area where the sun is shining, and there is a sole tree by the shore of the stream with nothing but tall grass around it. Then numerous little waterfalls that line the stream as you go along it. None huge, but nevertheless beautiful and greatly enhancing this section of the hike. Thank you for watching, and if you like this addition to the series, like and subscribe. Also, let us know which state park you'd like us to see next.